ready to talk hockey. Streaming from the Oilers Live studio. Subscribe or follow today.
Hey, it's Oilers Live with a special edition. Thursday late night, if you're out here on the Atlantic coast. It's after 1 a.m. here. And, man, I mean, we wouldn't do this if it wasn't what we think has the potential to be big news. So just to catch everybody up, if you haven't been on X yet, you haven't seen, I posted earlier, and I don't post trade or break trades or information just because I heard it in the wind. But I got some intel from a source that I trust. And that source said that there's a trade coming down the pipe, and it's between Edmonton and Pittsburgh, and it's Jarry and Witherspoon. Jarry, goaltender, obviously. Witherspoon, left D. And to Pittsburgh, it's Skinner, Janmark, and let me be clear, it's draft picks. Okay? The Oilers are going to have to move Kulak to free up some room as Nuge is coming back into the lineup. All of this happening soon. And so, as I said, I mean, I don't post anything unless if I think it's got legs, right? Like real, legitimate legs. This is from a source that I know is connected, a source that I trust, somebody I've known for quite a while. That source says 100%. So I'm about 90%. Right? You know? But we're going to talk about it, guys, because you know what? I believe this source enough that it's worth having a special edition talking about what's going on. You can tell me if you guys, if there's any other rumors you've heard or anything else you want to talk about tonight. But we're going to talk about this, especially after some of the commentary going out today with Skinner getting the gears in the in the presser or in the press availability. Some of the things happening around the team. Elliott, I think, saying basically like it's time. It has to happen. So all of this coming about this time, and this was an unsolicited rumor that came to me. That's the other reason why I like, look, guys, I don't, you know me, right? Like I don't put anything out there unless if it's got real legs. I put this out there today because I think that it's legit. And so here we have it. If this is true, Skinner's moving on, new era in goaltending. Of course, maybe it's just somebody else that we're going to lambaste night after night. But this Witherspoon thing, again, if it's true, that's a pretty big deal. Blue Bullet Brad, Kevin, off air, we were talking about Blue Bullet Brad. He posted some numbers around Witherspoon. Witherspoon might be he'd be a steal, I think, in this trade.
Yeah, he definitely sweetens the pot if that's how this shakes out. Brad McPherson is somebody that I trust quite a bit in the analytics space, and he quite likes Micah Blake McCurdy's synthetic goals algorithm, I guess, or model. And that model has him at plus 1.8 SG, which is a pretty good marker for a third pairing or arguably top four defenseman. So depending on how this shakes out, and I haven't even looked at his contract yet. So I think if that's
1 million.
2 years by 1 million.
Well, then that makes a ton of sense for the Oilers in terms of getting cheaper. And that's no disrespect to Kulak. I know that Kulak is loved around here, and I'm a big fan myself. So if that's how it works out, I'm sorry that he is likely to move on in this set of trades. But it's pretty clear that they need to not have $3 million on their third pairing, and in order to make things happen. And unfortunately, with Jake Wallman and Darnell Nurse and Matthias Ekholm on the left side, it's pretty plugged up, and it hasn't been a very successful experience with running a lefty on the right side. So we'll see how everything shakes out here.
Yeah. Patrick, Ryan, I mean, what do you think? I mean, we're talking about this, and I think about the Skinner trade. I think you got to have a D-man coming back, right? And to that point, you have to have, you got to do something to free up space for Nuge. Ryan, you're the guy that's following all the cap area. What do the Oilers need to do in terms of Nuge coming back?
Really, it's nothing because they have. I mean, they're still on LTIR. Right? Kapanen is still not activated yet, and Philp is still not activated yet. Kapanen appears to have hurt himself again at practice today. He left the last drill of the practice, and there was some video of him smashing some sticks as he was leaving the ice. So he was clearly visibly frustrated at what happened. So I don't know where his status stands for Saturday. But right now, according to Puckpedia, the Oilers have $159,167 in cap space, and that's with an active roster of 22. So you activate Nuge from IR, that's your 23rd roster spot. That's all well and good. So they don't technically have to do anything with Nuge coming back. But if you're going to shuffle some bodies around, it's got to be equal value or you're giving up more, right? Because you can't go over. So in this potential trade, the Oilers would be adding a total of 2.325 million. That's Jarry at 5.375, Weatherspoon at 1 million, and then Skinner at 2.6 and Janmark at 1.5 going the other way. So the Oilers would have to move at least that much just to make this work, even in LTIR. If they move Kulak, he's kind of the closest one to that figure that you could move. So that math adds up.
Okay. And I think, like, if for the Oilers to do this, though, Pittsburgh's got to retain some of Jarry's contract, right? You'd think?
They don't necessarily have to. It would be nice if they did, but that would raise the price, and I'm okay with not paying extra for salary retention, especially with where the cap's going next season. And Jarry's got another 2 years after this one, so it's not debilitating.
Okay. And the it looks sorry, like I don't I'm trying to get extra details, see if I can get any. I'm not getting any in terms of what picks might be going for. Again, to clarify, draft picks, not Pickard. and I don't know if there's any retention being discussed or how that looks. I've got a few more details about how this came about, how the information came about, and it sounds a little bit more legit. So, Patrick, any thoughts on this?
I mean, there's a lot of smoke to it, so I wasn't surprised when you put out that post. It was looking like, well, I've been doing videos on my channel, The Oilers Fanatic, about Tristan Jarry possibly coming to the Edmonton Oilers for years now. So this isn't a new topic in oil country or anything like that. He's obviously got the Edmonton Oil Kings connection, so he's got history here in the city. It makes me a little bit nervous. He's obviously had a fantastic year so far, but I think that was in 7 or 8 games he's played so far, and I think it was just last year that he was being sent down to the AHL. So we're not getting a guaranteed thing here. That's for sure. I mean, there are no guarantees.
Yeah.
It has the potential to work out, but it's a risky move. I think you were mentioning retention there. They might consider taking Matthias Janmark back, kind of retention there, because Janmark's got another year left on his deal too, and he's not exactly a valuable trade piece at this point. So that might be, we'll take Janmark instead of retention type thing.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Might happen. Could happen that way. Wish I had a few more details so I could give more on that. The other thing, like, I think, everybody that's posted or reposted and commented, a lot of people I've been on Skinner for a little while now, right? For a number of years, in fact. But I'm excited. If I had to look at this, and let's say it comes down, I'm probably more excited about the Witherspoon piece than I am about anything else. Like it's, I don't know that we're upgrading a ton, right? Like we're just putting in something different. The Oilers still need to upgrade on D, right? If Kulak goes out, Witherspoon in, I think
he's still a left defenseman. He's still
and
a
he's
left
still
defense,
lefty, right? Yeah,
right? Like that's
Yeah.
that I know that I was up on getting a cheaper defenseman in there, but he's still a left defenseman. So they need again to do something on the right in order to make it all come together. And I don't know what that's going to be yet.
Yeah, but Witherspoon seems like a good get though. Like
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
looking at natural stat trick 5-on-5, Pittsburgh Penguins pairings. He and Erik Karlsson have the most minutes together for them this season, 322 and 50 seconds in 22 games. That's their top pairing.
Yeah.
He would not be top pairing here. He'd be bottom pairing on the left side more than likely. But if he's getting that kind of minutes in Pittsburgh on a team that's doing all right so far, I don't mind that.
Yeah, I mean I think that's exactly it, right? Maybe you're upgrading sort of down the lineup, which I think is a positive. Somebody
And,
asked on X, like, is that an upgrade? I just don't see Jarry as an upgrade. I see it as something different, and I
It's
think
a side grade.
yeah, that's exactly
Yeah.
it. And right now, to Friedman's post about it, like the Oilers have to move Skinner. I don't think that like it's become one of those sort of scenarios where you can't win, right? It's like whether he if he has a good game tomorrow night, people won't trust him. I don't even know if the players 100% trust him, if I'm being honest. And so, if you have that in the room, then it's the only good thing for him is to move. I think somebody put like, is this Dubnyk 2.0? and it could be, right? Like Skinner could go to a team that's got excellent D and just absolutely crush it. And then what? Like out come all the people that knew Skinner was good all along. Right? Yeah. Braden asks, is there a forward coming back in a Kulak deal? I don't have any information on Kulak, just given the details that Kulak would be on the way out, which I think has been discussed for a little time now, because his is probably the easiest to move, right?
Yeah, he struggled mightily in the month of November, especially. And as Kevin kind of pointed out, they just extended Ekholm. They just extended Wallman. The left side's pretty crowded. This team's got to get younger. It's got to get faster. Kulak's going to be 32 in January, and Witherspoon is 28. So that gets that third pairing lefty position younger, cheaper, potentially faster, and not in the middle of a tire fire right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Patrick, I mean, you'd heard some rumors about Jarry in the past. Was there anyone else that you'd heard in those rumors?
I think it was wishful thinking, Darnell Nurse.
Yeah.
But I don't see Darnell Nurse being any part of this. Obviously he wasn't part of your report there. So yeah, I think it was because everyone was always trying to figure out how do you make the money work, right? Because you can't just take on, and then probably in an ideal situation before we got to where we are now it's Jarry and Skinner probably, right? And you have like a really strong tandem. But as we've been saying, I think we're at the point now where Skinner, I think, wants a fresh start. And to Kevin's point, and you were pointing out with Elliot Friedman as well, like this isn't a huge upgrade. It's a lateral move. It's a fresh start for both guys. Even though Jarry's already had kind of a resurgence this year with Pittsburgh, it is another fresh market where he can try and establish himself again. So, yeah, I haven't heard anyone in particular before this. It was just mostly Darnell Nurse rumors.
Yeah. Now somebody's commenting on YouTube, Jarry won't come to a loser. I mean, look, I'm curious though. I mean, Jarry's got a modified no trade, Well, that could be a possibility for him to blow that up, right? Like I hardly think the Oilers are a losing team. They're in a tough tough situation right now. But back-to-back Cup finals, I hardly think, and two of the best players in the world, that most players would think that way. Now, having said that, coming to a Canadian city, right? Coming to a city where you've seen already how they treat their goalies. Listen to Skinner today in his quotes with Matheson. It's like, yeah, I mean, he grew up in Edmonton. He's seen this before, right? Like he knows, right? Like, we're hard on goalies here. We're hard on players, not just goalies.
No,
Right?
but Tristan's from Surrey, right? Like
Yeah.
he's not unfamiliar with the Canadian hockey market. He grew up in Vancouver, right? So I don't see that as being a huge problem for him. Again, this is still a rumor at this point, right?
Yep.
Like we have a reliable source that Michael trusts, so we're talking about the possibilities here. And I think that it's really is time, and you have to wonder too if Skinner was ready to try something else too, right? Like he's been under the microscope for a long time. This is a hard market to play hockey as a goalie, and I fully expect that he's going to go somewhere else, and we're going to see that there was a goalie there. I just don't think it was possible for him to be a goalie for us, if that makes sense. I think that relationship is a little bit I don't know if it's soured. I think that those guys are pretty tight, but I think the market and where Skinner's place is in the Edmonton region, he's loved by many and hated by some, and I understand maybe if it's time for a change of pace for both sides.
The thing about Jarry too is he won a Mem Cup here, right? He's played in Edmonton before, and albeit in the junior market, absolutely. But he knows the city. He knows what's up here, and he's had some success here. I would assume his Mem Cup run was probably a positive experience, so it's not as if he's got a haunted house here that he's looking to avoid. So I don't see us being on his no trade list, but last year, Jarry's numbers were worse than Skinner's. Right, this year they're far superior. Right, so yeah, we don't know what we're gonna get, but you go through his hockey DB. Last year was his only year where his save percentage has been below 900, and his GAA is generally in the mid to high twos, which is not bad on Penguins teams that have been middling at best. So I mean, he's got a body of work, and he's a year older than Skinner. So like, I like this better than going out and getting Jordan Binnington at 32 years old, right? The cliff may have, the carpet may have already been pulled out from Binnington, right? Once you hit your 30s, it doesn't matter what position you're playing. There's an inevitable decline coming at some point, and sometimes it sneaks up on you real quick. So like, I'd rather go with a guy who's kind of in that peak window, late 20s, like Jarry, but it's a lateral move for sure.
Yeah, and I don't think the Oilers there's an upgrade available to the Oilers right now. Like that's the part people don't understand.
If you got to go goaltender, why are you trading them?
Yeah,
right. Like unless it's an overcrowded situation like Pittsburgh's kind of got here, you're not like, why would you trade a really good goaltender? It doesn't make sense. So this is a fresh start, change of scenery trade. It does kind of make sense for both sides, but I'm just hoping the price isn't too steep.
Yeah, I mean, if I was to look at this from a Pittsburgh perspective, I mean, there's a whole bunch of people saying, "No, Pittsburgh wouldn't do this trade." I don't know. I mean, if I'm an outsider looking in at Edmonton and I look at the games lately and I see how many high danger chances, I might be inclined to think that Skinner's not the problem, right? Like, if you can't clear the front of the net out, right? Matthew Barnaby put out a little post about the last game against Dallas, and he's right. Like, guys are they're losing every 50-50 battle. There's more Oilers out there, and then all of a sudden there's not. Like, it's the defense and the connectedness of this team is at an all-time low.
And,
I mean, Skinner doesn't have a chance.
well, and even if Skinner, for whatever reason, doesn't work out in Pittsburgh, he's a UFA at the end of the year, and Pittsburgh has their goaltenders of the future. There's
Fair.
Sheloffs
Great
and
point.
Yep.
yeah, I can't remember the name of their other young guy that they just sent down. But Pittsburgh's got their goalies of the future. Like, they're not counting on bringing in Stuart Skinner to be their goaltender for the next 10 years. He's probably showcased, I don't know, maybe Pittsburgh flips him right again, or maybe around the trade deadline if he can come in and play strong in Pittsburgh. Who knows? Like, I don't think Stuart Skinner is long for Pittsburgh if he goes there.
Yeah.
And that
And if
that might
they-
be true, right?
If they continue playing well, I think they're in a wild card spot. Last I checked, and they still have Sidney Crosby and Geno Malkin and Letang and Carlson. They've got an experienced core that wants to win. Like Dubas and the Penguins aren't ready to throw in the towel and tank for McKenna. But they still want to take another run at this. So they look at what Kulak's done like they're not getting Kulak, it's a separate deal. But they look at Skinner having been to 2 consecutive Stanley Cup finals. They got Artur Silovs as their starter right now. He's got no experience in the NHL aside from 1 playoff round. Great AHL run last year, but not proven in the later rounds of the Stanley Cup playoffs like Stu Skinner is. So that's not a horrible backup to have as an option.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's fair. I like, to me, for those reasons, this makes some sense for Pittsburgh. The part that maybe doesn't make sense to me maybe is the Witherspoon piece, because you got a guy that, on the cheap that is seemingly, he's playing your top D pairing minutes, right? How many top D pairs do you have that you're paying $1 million for? Right. The Janmark piece, I guess, I mean, their bottom 6 is sort of a mix of skill there. I mean, it might be nice to have a guy like Janmark in there to sort of lead that, maybe there's something to the draft picks in there. I don't know. Right. Like, if you're gonna take picks from the Oilers, this is the year to do it, right? Like, you might be betting on the Oilers giving away something a little bit higher up the rung than they would normally, right?
Yeah, I don't see this being any higher than like a mid-round pick, in all honesty. I don't think the difference between Skinner and Jarry, when you look at the whole body of work, is all that great. They're a year apart, so it's not like you're getting a young stud goaltender in return. And the Witherspoon piece is probably why there's a draft pick involved in the first place.
Yeah.
They just signed him as a free agent this year for $1 million, right? Like, it's not an impact D.
I think the contract piece is the most important bit, though, right? If this happens exactly as described, they're getting a goalie that's a UFA at the end of this year, and we're taking a goalie that's, in some people's opinions, a poor contract, right? There's 3 more years left at $5 million and change on that
2
contract.
after this one.
Yeah,
okay, we're doing them a favor by getting them out of that.
Exactly, right? So like everybody's scratching everybody's backs here, and then so you have to wonder. I hope they don't spend the first. I really do hope, unless
they shouldn't have to for this.
Unless there is serious retention involved. If there's serious retention involved, then it makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, I think you're on the right path there, Kev. Like, we're taking on 2 extra years at Jarry. Like, that's got to be worth something. Like, you guys, like, we complain. Well, we don't really complain much about Stuart Skinner, but in general, Stuart Skinner is complained about. But he is a goaltender that's been to the Stanley Cup Finals 2 years in a row, and he's UFA at the end of the year. Like, you're not taking on a huge risk by getting Stuart Skinner on your team. Like, maybe a fresh situation completely rejuvenates him as well. You get all the weight off his shoulders of being here and being told you suck every day and everything like that. I mean, that's probably, you could definitely see a brand new goaltender with that. And we've seen him be stellar at times, and we've seen him struggle. So I think whoever gets him would probably be pretty excited, because it's pretty much a no lose situation for them.
Yeah, it's. I mean, there's the other fact that we don't necessarily know or haven't heard, but is it possible Skinner's asked for a trade? Like, I mean,
it's possible.
Yeah, I would. I mean, if
It's-
I
it's
was
not-
him,
it's
I would,
not- it's
I would
not that-
ask for a
okay.
trade last week. Like,
I've been
2 weeks
talking
ago.
with a number of people for the past couple of weeks. I'm not super connected by any stretch of the imagination. I'm still building those relationships out and trying to get more informed from with good information. And I've heard that come up a couple of times, especially this week. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. We'll see, right? Like if I'm Stuart Skinner, I'm kind of sick of this bullshit, if I'm being honest with you. Like, this team is playing like dog water in front of him. Um, it's not going to just be, and it may, you know what? You watch what's going to happen. They're going to get a new goalie, and all of a sudden the defense are going to remember what the hell their position is again, and everything's going to be fine. There's a non-zero chance that happens. I don't necessarily think that is to be, correlation, causation with Stuart Skinner leaving or not leaving. I do think that there is a little tension maybe there, but I think Skinner's got put a lot of pressure on himself to try and deliver, knowing he's up against the gun, and that's honestly kind of not working out right now. So if he's asked for a trade, or if he's suggested that he'd be okay with moving on, however that mechanic looks, then more power to him. I don't fault him for that. Well, this place chews up goaltenders like you wouldn't believe.
And just kind of a side note, but going on from a team with Connor McDavid to a team with Sidney Crosby, that's not a bad way.
Yeah,
For 2 teams to play for. I mean, that's a completely side thing to all this, but yeah.
yeah. I just if he's ready to have a slightly less high intensity environment, then this is probably a pretty good move for him. If that, again, like, all of this is still a little bit speculation, right? There's again, source we trust. There's a pretty good chance that this is going to go down exactly as listed, but we'll add that disclaimer that terms and conditions may apply. And um, I suspect that this is a trade that, when I think about it, makes a lot of sense for both teams. So it seems like it has some legitimacy to it. It's not like we're trading Connor McDavid for their like 9th round draft pick or something like that. It's has some semblance of sanity to it and balance. So yeah.
Yeah, and look, I'll tell you this: when I, as you know, and I've said before, I don't post stuff that I.
No, wait, I'm not, and I'm not suggesting you do.
Yeah, no, and
I got
and
behind it because I trust what you're saying,
yeah,
right?
and
Like,
here's
this is not the
part of
first
the
time.
reason too. Yeah,
Yeah.
here's part of the reason is I get tons of crap in my inbox all the time, right? And from some people I trust, right? But I've been burned before, right? Like guys that I thought had really good legitimacy. But one of the things that also kind of made me side with this, even though the source here I know isn't trying to burn me, but the other thing is the players, right? Like a lot of times I'll just get crap like Skinner for Jarry, it's happening, it's legit or whatever. But then when you start adding in stuff, like you add in a Witherspoon or somebody who kind of makes the deal creative, that's when I start to wonder, like, okay, maybe this is something, and I'll start to dig in a little bit. And you start to think about how why that makes sense. And we talked about it tonight, right? Like all the reasons why this might make sense, why they might throw in draft picks, why Pittsburgh might move Jarry, right? And then it starts to sound like it's got some legs. So that's kind of where I'm at. But to be clear, for everybody tuning in tonight or on X or whatever, is what I've heard. I'm not an insider, right? I don't yet. Nobody's texting me, right?
Yeah,
Like
you're gonna have to update that name under there.
That's right. That's right.
You're not doing the Elliot Friedman, like, middle of the stream,
No.
like texting
No.
side-eyeing
No.
of the phone. Yeah.
I mean, I think, benefit of us in doing podcasts and that sort of thing is we do get a lot of people reach out to us. We make some good contacts. We try to sort of leverage those contacts. We don't have the platform that an Elliot Friedman has, but we do have some good legit sources, right? We've heard some things, over time. I could have broken a few things, over the past year or so that I didn't post because I didn't trust them, right? I didn't think it was true, and then find out later, oh damn, I knew that. I knew that before, right? But that's why I posted this, because I actually believe this one to be true. So we'll see what happens. It'd be interesting given the day that Skinner had. And then also listening to Gazdick on Edmonton Sports Talk. That's hilarious. Talking about who was the who's the guy? Fit coach there. What was his name?
Dallas Aikens.
Dallas Aikens, yeah. And
That's
the bag
hilarious,
skate.
man. If
Oh.
anybody hasn't seen that clip, you need to go watch that clip.
Yeah.
I think we'll find a way to post it here in a second, but
I know I retweeted it earlier.
It is.
Can you imagine like just getting your puke your guts out level of bag skated and your coach gets fired before you get back to the dressing room? Like, can you imagine the satisfaction? Like they said they went to Deluxe Burger afterwards. Like that'd be the best cheeseburger you've ever eaten in your life, right? Like,
yeah. So for those tuning in that don't know, go check out Edmonton Sports Talk. Check out Ryan's X page. He's reposted it. I should repost it later. Basically, Gazdick said that Decade of Darkness, night before, I guess, Dallas Eakins, or night of Dallas Eakins had a practice and bag skated them. No sticks. They just did mountains, like total bag skate. He said he was puking, the whole deal. They go to Deluxe Burger after the fact, and then they get the text or whatever to say Dallas is gone. So
and that bag skate would have been brutal, man. Like if anybody listening has ever done mountains, that is the worst drill on the face of the earth. Nothing, and especially if you chain a couple of them together, nothing makes you feel like you want to puke quite like doing mountains. For those that don't know, it's goal line, blue line, goal line, red line, goal line, far blue line, etc., so on and so forth until you cycle through all the lines. Coaches really want to be an asshole about it. They throw in the ringette lines too. So if the ice has it, not a fun experience.
I saw some chat in there about Sebastian Cossa. What I heard was that he's not available right now from Detroit, so don't know how much.
I heard that he's not available, and I think the acquisition cost there would be pretty eye-watering. The Oilers wanted Cossa in the draft and said somehow managed to swing and miss and take Borgo instead of yeah, I know. We spent a bunch of yesterday. Yeah, we've talked about this a bunch yesterday, so we're not going to revisit it, but enough to give any of us hives that remember it.
Yeah, I have a piece on heavyhockey.com about it if you really want my opinion.
Yeah. We always want your opinion, Ryan. Of course we do. That's why we keep adding you back. Yeah. Well, yeah, always might be a little bit of an exaggeration.
So I'm guessing when he's ready, maybe Connor Ingram, the new backup to Jarry, if this all works out, or I don't know.
I believe the suggestions out there that they might do what Colorado did last year, and that is really shake the can. I won't be surprised if they acquire a backup with Pickard from another organization. I've heard a couple names. They've been names that have been thrown around before, and some of them were available in the off season. You think about the DiPietros, or you think about the Alex Lyons, or you think about a few of those types of players, and I don't know if there's any truth to any of that, or if they're going to try and give Ingram a shot first. I mean, that would be the free move to the organization, but Buffalo's got a logjam of goalies. New Jersey, or not New Jersey, but there's goalies in the minors that you could make a case might be a good start to bring up. Again, DiPietro was available on waivers in October. and he's gone down and done like in the 930s and save percentage and just been kind of, you know, sub 2 goals against average. Really solid really solid goalie that a lot of people were pretty excited about.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm laughing. Like, the big argument about this trade is not whether it makes sense or whatever, but whether I meant Pickard or picks, draft picks. And there are people literally ready to throw
Well,
down.
that's his nickname. I mean,
I know, but like those people that are like, why would they trade Pickard? And then other people popping in and say, why, you're such a dumbass. There's no way they're trading Pickard. It's picks, draft picks.
well, that's how I read it when I first
yeah.
read it. But of course, I've been hanging out with Russ Jericho all summer, so he's like a big Calvin Pickard guy. So I'm hearing picks constantly. So that's what my mind immediately goes to when I read that.
I mean, that's like, if anything, you gotta love our fan base. It's great. You know, if we switch things up a little bit, I mean, the latest news on the Oilers, of course, sadly, is Kapanen left the ice today in a bit of a fit, and we talked a little bit about this. Kapanen, a competitor like any NHL player, hasn't played in 18 games, is it? I think
Yeah,
it's
he's been
around
out since
6
like
weeks.
yeah, it was out since the 19th of October,
Yeah.
I think was the last game that he played.
The Detroit game.
So
Yeah.
apparently he injures himself on the last drill of the day. So, you know, I mean, I don't know many players of that caliber that wouldn't be like seriously pissed off, right? So the sticks go flying. It's nothing to do with the team, right? But there's seemingly a bit of a contingent of, of fans that think, you know, the team's at odds with each other because sticks are flying during practice. I think they're just reading headlines, if I'm being honest. But
I
man,
think they're making up headlines in their heads because they want it to be true.
well, I did. I read the headline on it, and one article was "Sticks Flying at Oilers Practice."
Yeah, and I think that's a ridiculous. Honestly, I posted about this. Some people got a little uppity about it, and that's fine. I understand why people believe that that is a sign of, you know, malcontent or whatever. But I honestly don't believe that. If I spent the last 6 weeks rehabbing an injury to my knee, and the last drill of practice the day before I'm supposed to get reactivated and then start playing, I re-hurt my knee and I'm back to square zero and potentially worse than that, I'm probably going to be pretty pissed off too. That's, you know, these guys work exceptionally hard, and you know, you can throw out the all millionaires and crybabies and whatever else, but that this is an incredibly difficult sport to play at the level that these guys play. It's really taxing on the body. They put a lot of effort into making sure that they're in peak physical condition, and to have a setback like that is really demoralizing, and I understand the emotional response. I can pretty much guarantee you, having been in that round of rink enough in my life, that that didn't even phase the equipment guys. They probably just picked the sticks up and they didn't even talk about it. Or if they did, it was capping and apologizing for, you know, being a little pissy coming off the ice. But my bet is that he was too busy getting evaluated for whatever damage he's done to himself for that to even occur. So I don't hold it against him. I don't think it's a sign of any sort of
No.
discontent in the room or anything like that. I think it's a personal reaction to his own personal situation and nothing more.
Yeah, and
Well-
you know what? There's going to be some discontent. They're not performing the way they want to perform.
Sure,
sorry,
but
go
he
ahead.
hasn't been part of that picture,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, the cabinets thing was not that.
Yeah. Patrick?
Well, I was just going to say, like, this is Kapanen's future too, right? Like, he's on a 1-year deal.
Mhm.
He doesn't want to be out injured all season long. Like, he's got to earn his next contract here, and he wants to be on the ice with his team first and
He
foremost.
wants to
Sure,
help.
but yeah, he wants to help. Yeah, like if you're a good teammate and you're watching your team struggle on the ice, you want to get out on the ice and help them. And secondary, he's got to earn his next contract here, right? He's only on a 1-year deal, so he has multiple reasons, really important reasons why he wants to get back out there. So yeah, an injury does nothing to help him right now.
Yeah, it's And you know what? I don't even talk about sticks going if they don't reach the second balcony.
And I get it, but you've seen crazy shit over the years too, right? Like, I remember a time when Jamie Benn asked the equipment manager to hand him like literally all of his sticks on the bench, and he snapped them over his knee one at a time and like threw them in the corner. Like, it's a sport where guys are a little bit pissy.
Yeah.
Like that's just how it is. And I get that, that's a little bit pot calling the kettle black, excusing that behavior, but that's just a fact of life. You get hurt, you're upset about it. I don't see that as being unreasonable as somebody who's watched the sport for a few decades, right?
Yeah. And let's be fair. Like there's going to be some anger in the dressing room right now. Probably a lot, right? Oilers are a 500 point percentage team right now. And just went
Luckily, with luck. That's
luck.
like luck-based 500.
Yeah. They're pissed off, and they should be. They should be pissed off. It's like, and look, they should welcome some type of a shakeup, like what we're talking about today too, because clearly something needs to happen in there. Something, whether it's coaching, whether it's goaltending, whether it's whatever. Look, a lot of people asking timeline on the trade. Apologies, I don't know, but I've got to think it's got to go down before the game Saturday. That's all.
My assumption would be tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
they need time to travel.
Yeah.
Well, and when, like, I don't know when they don't usually announce trades at this time of night like that.
Yeah,
I
no.
don't even think the league office will accept them now. I think the registry only opens in the morning. So I won't be, if it goes down, it'll probably be tomorrow. It just is an uneducated guess here. I don't see this happening tonight. I don't think there's a mechanism for it to happen tonight. Plus, they need to make a couple other things happen in order for that to even be possible. And again, huge asterisks on this whole situation. We know we're in front of it a little bit, but all of us here trust Michael, and Michael trusts his source. So that's why we're coming to you with it tonight.
Yeah, 100%. And, I mean, look, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Well, as long as you don't delete the post and pretend it didn't happen.
Yeah, I'll own it. I'll be on here right away and own it. I will own it.
Maybe don't post a Milan Lucic thing here right away. Yeah.
That's right.
He's signing with the Oilers next, right? Yeah.
Look, you know what? I mean, I had good intel one time. It was in the playoffs that and I think it was about Skinner, actually, that Skinner was going to start a certain game. And really good intel, like somebody that was close to the team could give me the information. And so I posted it, and I was wrong, and I got butchered. I got absolutely butchered, and I hated it. Like, I'm just like, and every time like when we posted about Woodcroft, like all I did was I sat there like basically twiddling my fingers the whole time, just waiting for something, right? And like the minutes just seemed longer and longer and longer until Woodcroft was actually fired. And we put that out a fair bit in advance of and we put it out in front of a win, no less, right? Like win or lose, we put that out. And we got it. But again, like I sat there and the minutes get long when you're waiting for something to break like that. So that's what my next 24 hours is going to be like.
It might be a little longer than 24 hours. You might want to buckle in for the next week or two.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Get the Jordan Bennington trade.
if it's 2 weeks out, oh man.
Yeah, wake up to a UC Saros trade instead and wonder what the hell happened. Like,
oh jeez.
Yeah. Wait, that's who we meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm growing the mustache more as a disguise than anything, guys. Like I just don't want to know anybody that anybody to know who it is. Yeah, no, it's you know what this is fun. This is great. Like we get a source. Sometimes we post it. Sometimes we don't. If I'm Friedman or somebody like that, obviously he's got the connections, right? I'm not that. But look, we this is what we want, and to do and be ahead of, and we can have some fun with it. It's great. I think that and talk about it. This trade to me sounds legit. Like the more we talk about it, sounds exactly like the kind of trade that a couple of GMs might do at this point in their seasons. Pittsburgh started out hot, and they've kind of gone a little bit slower as of late. Right? They're sitting in 8th position, I think. I better check that. Yeah, they're sitting right at the second wild card. I guess they're still 11, 6, and 5. I shouldn't say, but 3, 4, and 3 in their last 10. So, maybe now is the right time. And, Jarry, given where his contract's at, Skinner, where his contract's at, that makes sense on the Pittsburgh side for me. Edmonton needs to do something different on D. People are asking, what do you think about this, like moving Kulak out? I mean, this has been a rumor for a couple weeks now, I think. And it's not. I think
based on his play,
yeah.
I've been wondering if that, because there was rumor that he had contract negotiations with the org and then they didn't go anywhere. And ever since that rumor came out, I've been wondering if it was sort of mutually understood that this would be his last season with the organization. And I've honestly wondered if that's contributed to his below Brett Kulak average play, which is a very high bar. Don't get me wrong. He's a super reliable guy, local story, great hockey player, really smart, great skater, like fantastic skater. And we sort of have to make some sacrifices somewhere to make things happen if we're going to make things happen this year. And I think that given that there's some other no movement clauses that have leaned on those no movement clauses from every bit of information that's available, it sort of makes a bit of sense.
Yeah.
Well, I think, like you said before, like he's too much for our third pairing too, right? I mean, he's great to have. We love him in the playoffs and everything like that. But ultimately, if we're going to make moves, you got to cut from somewhere. And there's really nowhere else you can really cut that's a significant enough piece to create cap space.
Yep.
Yeah, and I don't think the Oilers want to pack it in and start thinking about next year. They still want to pursue a playoff spot and pursue a Stanley Cup championship here. So it sucks that they're in a situation where they have to sacrifice things off the roster to improve in other areas. I don't think they wanted it to go this way. I don't think they envisioned it going this way. But that's what happens when you're playing as poorly as the Oilers have played in the first 25 games or so, whatever number we're at here, especially having lost 2 of their last 3 at home by the ways that they did, getting absolutely trounced by Colorado and Dallas. So eventually there comes a point where you have to look at it and say, okay, we have to do something. I've been preaching patience, especially this year in sort of a transition year, but there's always comes a point where you got to do something, and it's unfortunate that it's coming at the cost of having to make some sacrifices elsewhere on the roster with a quality veteran player, but like Kulak. But as Kevin has pointed out, the writing was kind of on the wall for him anyway. So if we can get an asset for him, I'm for it.
And I just don't see a way that they continue to their left side is set. And it should be set. It should be Wallman. It should be Ekholm. It should be Nurse. We can talk all the shit we want to about Nurse's contract and whatever else. It's not productive. It doesn't help the situation. He has a full He has a full no movement clause, and absent some compelling evidence to the contrary, I don't see that likely to be something that they even consider unless he wants to leave. It's not healthy for us to speculate on that. He's a big part of this organization. He's very tight with the core group. I think that the realistic out here was Kulak. I am a little disappointed that we had to lose Troy Stetcher in the process in order to get it to this point, but I guess you can't. Hindsight is 20/20, right?
Yeah. I wanted to ask about that Stetcher thing because I didn't follow it. Did he say some things after he moved to Toronto, like derogatory?
Not exactly. He's
Okay.
What it
not
was.
exactly.
Like
Yeah,
I wasn't
Mike
following
Johnson.
it, and I heard some things, but what did you guys hear?
It was the morning the Stetcher's showing up to the rink for the first time. Mike Johnson just kind of in passing said, "They're throwing you straight into the fire, hey?" And Stetcher said, "I just left the fire."
Oh,
Right. So
okay.
that's all it was. It was just a point to Edmonton being a intense market that was struggling, and going to Toronto, another intense market that's also struggling. That's all that was.
Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense. I wondered. Stetcher doesn't seem like the type to do that, but and I couldn't find the source of it. Not that I looked that hard. I didn't really care, to be honest with you, but I cared enough to ask just now.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Some people made it noteworthy, but yeah, it really wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the comments on X, I always love, like keyboard warriors. You're not an insider. This is BS. Right under my name there, it says not an insider. So I don't know if you're if you're trying to insult me or not, but
And like we've said several points tonight, like there is every possibility this doesn't work out, but it's a source we trust, so we're going with it and tell evidence to the contrary.
And some people make good choice or good points about this because there's a lot of folks that say, Pittsburgh wouldn't do that. Pittsburgh and Dubas specifically, like he's all about picks and building up exactly the way, Ryan, you'd love to build a team, right? Like start building the, filling the cupboards, right, with prospects. So this is right in line with the Dubas type of deal. Right. I think, like we look at Witherspoon. I mean, this is, here's a guy, he's never played a full season in the NHL. Right. So, we don't see him as often as Pittsburgh fans do. So I don't know. People asking no retention on Jarry. What's in it for Pittsburgh? Well, I mean, Skinner's at the end of a deal, right? They can either, they either have a goalie that they sign or they let him go, right? Like this is, I think, exactly what they need given the future they have with goaltending.
Yeah, gets them out of the Jarry contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the big benefit for them.
Yeah. Jeff Crest on YouTube asks, who is the source? I can't say. I literally can't. Not that and even if I could, I probably wouldn't anyway. I can just say that it's somebody I trust enough to post something like this. I've only posted stuff a couple of times, and I'm not somebody who goes out posting rumors just for clickbait. Although clearly this one, this is a meaningful topic to a lot of Oilers fans. I guess when I did post it, I did figure it would be picked up. It's been. People are going with it. Obviously, everybody's got their opinions that they have, right? So any other thoughts, guys?
No, I guess all we can do now is wait and see. I wanted to address this one because I know people really like Saros. I get it. I really do. I do not think that any goalie in that price point is any sort of reasonable target for anything but next summer. Like, could they maybe get him? Yeah, that's a great comment.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I loved it too.
Yeah. Great. Now we're into source validation.
Yeah.
I don't think that you're going to see them go after a Saros or another, $10 million goalie or $8 million goalie this season. They don't have the cap space. There's, like guys, in order to make that happen, you're talking about trading pieces that are really, really going to hurt. Like you're talking about trading Nugent Hopkins. You're talking about trading potentially Matthias Ekholm. You're talking about and they just signed him to a new deal. Like that's the kind of dollar amount you need to move to make a deal like that work. Never mind the draft capital or organizational prospects that you have to send with it.
Or you pay through the nose for retention for the next 7 years.
Yeah,
for a goaltender that's signed to his late 30s.
That's signed to his late 30s and then frankly having a shitty year in front of a not very good team. We're again, we're not going to disclose sources tonight. That's not, nobody would ask Elliot nobody would ask Elliot to disclose his sources. We're not going to be doing that with ours. It's just something that we're going to see if Michael's intuition is onto something here. And to me, the trade makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. It does. The more I look at it, I think it makes some sense. I know there's all sorts of opinions on it, but there's a lot of different pieces in here for a couple of teams that are, at different stages, right, and different players at different stages. I think it's look, if it doesn't happen, look, I eat shit, and
we're all going to look real silly, but you know what?
Yeah.
Wouldn't be the first time this week, so
I can crop myself out of here.
That's right.
Missouri loves company, right?
Yeah. Maybe Tristan will post my picture and
oh, that's low, man. That's low.
What are you referring to? Did something happen?
No, let's not.
No.
I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. No, you know what? Look, I like I've said, I trust that this is that it's real. At least it's got legs. That there's some truth to this. Like anything, until the paper is signed or the ink is on the deal, then you don't know for sure 100%. And I mean, but look, this is the Oilers fans, I think, want to change.
Clearly.
Merrick's talked about Skinner going out. Friedman's talked about Skinner going out. Oilers fanatic has talked about Skinner going out. Right? Like, I think that something's going to happen, right? And so, at the end of the day, that's what we'll be talking about next week. Where did Skinner go? And wow, Michael sure beat that one, right? Or maybe I'm not invited back on my own pod again.
You hope.
Yeah, we'll see. Either way,
we'll sunset the Oilers Live name and go back to the Heavy Hockey Podcast.
Right. Yeah, it might be the last you guys see of me, at least in this form. Maybe the mustache should be gone. Nobody will recognize.
December is how many days away?
That's right. Yeah. It's only a couple of days away. So either way, I'm safe. Guys. Thanks for coming on live, talking about this and the possibility of this trade happening. To everybody out there, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. Look, whatever side you're on, I hope this is good intel, because like at the end of the day, we want to.
Me too.
Me too.
We want to know, right? Like, this is.
We want to know, but we also don't want to be the guys that are, ringing the, screaming fire inside the theater, right? Like, that's not what any of us are about. So, Michael, your source is reliable and has been reliable before. We're just going to have to, and any trade can fall through at any reason. If somebody doesn't move on a clause, they don't get the right language that they want. Like, there's lots of reasons things can go sideways, but
Trust me, if it does, we'll have all those excuses ready. And
oh yeah, yeah. Get the excuse Rolodex out. We'll just start popping them off.
I got them ready. Yeah, I'm not banking my reputation on this, guys, but I don't have a reputation, so I guess I'm good, right? The reputation I have is that I don't post unless if I think it's true, and so I'll just say this for everybody out there listening before we go for the night. As I've said the whole time, I don't post for clickbait or anything like that. Like that's not my deal. You know.
Yep.
If I have something legit, I'll share it with everybody because that's what we want to hear. We want to hear rumors, and if as long as they're legit and you think they're legit, and so that's where we're at. I think this is legit, and we'll go from there. It's got to happen, I would think, within the next 24 hours, right? I think it's got to happen before the Kraken game on Saturday, right? Be good to have Nuge back.
Either that or sometime before the homestand.
Yeah, that's fair too. Could happen then. So we'll see. And my guess is, do we have? I don't think they've announced a starting goalie for the Kraken game yet, but
they haven't. He wouldn't actually name it. Yeah, he wouldn't name it today.
That's
I
right.
wonder why.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh,
Stan Bowman probably told him that'll be the last thing you do as a coach if you name your lineup before the game. So
that's right.
Tristan Jarry. What? Anyway, I gotta go.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. You know what, guys? It's been fun. Quick around the horn, and we're gonna give Patrick the last word on Oilers Live tonight. We're gonna start with me. Everybody listening, March 14th, Heavy Hockey Showdown in support of the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton. Put that in your calendar. We're going to open up early bird registration to be on the team December 15th. So look for that because that's going to be exciting. Of course, it's Team Heavy Hockey versus Team Edmonton Sports Talk, and that's going to be a lot of fun. That's all I've got. I've got a couple guests lined up for Oilers Live. Of course, every Wednesday night, we've got the Heavy Hockey podcast with these three folks and any number of the Heavy Hockey crew on there, me on occasion. So appreciate that. I'm going to continue with this Oilers Live on these sort of random times. It's 2:15 here, by the way, in Atlantic Canada. So crazy times for me. Ryan, Kevin, Patrick, finish us off. Everybody else have a good night.
So it's certainly an intriguing potential deal if it goes down. It's not the move I would make, though. If it was me, I'd be going after a younger goaltender that hasn't reached his prime yet, whose best years are in front of him still. If there's one guy from the Penguins I'd go after, it would be Joel Blomqvist. But there'd be some other young guys I'd probably want to go after before that, like a DiPietro type of guy. I'd even be super interested in the guy in Chicago, Arvid Soderblom, relationship with Peter Aubry. But if this is the way it goes down, and again, I trust Michael and his source here as well, it's kind of a lateral move, and it just feels like something's got to give here, right? It's just the way the season's gone so far, and this with the negativity flowing around the team, something's got to change, and this seems like the most obvious one to make. So I think that's why this avenue is being explored as closely as it is, and why we might see this happen as soon as tomorrow. So we'll see how it shakes out, but we'll keep our eyes open.
It'll be an exciting week in oil country, I think.
I think so.
Kevin?
Again, I think that, as it seems like an NHL deal that two GMs would make, right? Like it has all the markers, a tit for tat, a this for that, all the pieces to that make sense for both organizations. You see a lot of trade proposals out there that are really one-sided or just total shit kickings for one team or the other. And this seems like a deck shuffle for both orgs. This gets Pittsburgh what they want, which is to free up as much money in future cap in exchange for picks and draft capital, and hopefully we don't see any of our prospects leaving with it. I would think that would be a bit of an overpay, because in some ways it's each team doing each other a favor. But I also won't be surprised if this isn't. I know that, okay, let me rephrase that. I don't think it'll be the only move. We know that the Kulak piece is part of that, but I think it goes farther than that still. I won't be surprised to see if, either with Kulak or in a separate deal, that they also move Calvin Pickard, or they bring in another goalie somehow and put Calvin Pickard in Bakersfield. I don't know how that's going to play out, but it's sure seeming like Stan's kind of had enough and is ready to start making his midseason mark on the team.
Awesome. Take us home, Patrick. You know the rules. Say goodnight when you're done.
Yeah, I'm with you, Lotsy. I don't know if this is the deal I would have done, but I think they probably feel some pressure to bring in a name of some recognition. I don't know if your key piece you're bringing in is an unproven goaltender, if that would be too much of a trying to sell it. So I could still see, if they do move on from Calvin Pickard, maybe one of those guys that isn't as proven comes in as Jarry's backup, unless they plan to go with Connor Ingram. So we'll see what transpires there. There was some talk about the Oilers looking for another tough guy as well up front, so there might be a move coming in at the forward ranks as well. We'll see if anything comes of that, but the goalies are probably the immediate thing happening here. So we'll be following it. And Michael, thanks for sharing the information with us. If nothing else, this was a fun, entertaining hour of hockey talk. So it's a no-lose situation, I think, no matter what. So thank you, everyone, for joining us in the chat tonight. And yeah, as always, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Have a great night, everyone.